Today I'm answering a question from one of my readers, Jamie, who sent me a message from YouTube. So YouTube reader, love my YouTube readers, thank you. Long message, so I'll try to kind of cut it down. But it's about finding your passion. So Jamie wrote in saying, "Hi Evan, thank you for creating your videos. I appreciate your advice. I keep returning to the same dilemma. I've watched a video recently where you explain a technique to list your passions, things you like to learn, how much it's going to help people, and I'm stuck between either being a businessman or a music artist and kind of skipping down. What do you think? Do I risk pouring 10 to 20 years into becoming a musician that might not make it, or do I pour myself into a rewarding life in business? I spent the last 3 years going between business and music, and I realized I need to choose one or the other. Perhaps a strange one to answer, it's a strange one to ask too. Thanks, hope you're having a good evening. Yours, Jamie." So, great question, Jamie. And finding your passion and building a business around it is one of the most important steps that you have to do when you're launching a company. Too many people try to start a business because they're just trying to make a lot of money, and rarely do you see those companies work out because it's hard. It's really tough. And if you look at the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, you'll find that they've created their business because they really had a strong passion for it and they love what they do. They would do it even if they weren't getting paid, and they would find another way to make money. So you want to be able to find that passion, put it into your business so that when it does really get hard, you're able to keep plowing through all the barriers that are going to come at you and keep going into the future. In terms of what to do in terms of business or music, I would try to find a way to combine them. And in one of the books that I'm a big fan of called Built to Last, it looks at combining the genius of the and that's where you see a lot of mediocre companies say we're either going to do this or this, but the best companies and the companies that stay around and stick and last for years and years are the ones who say we're going to do this, and they look at ideas that are most people would think don't go well together, and they find a way to match them. And I think that can apply well to your business. Somewhere in here you talked about some of your passions on the business side is technology, programming, business efficiency. If you look at most musicians, and I deal with a lot of them from being in the salsa world, and there's a lot of salsa bands that come in. For the most part, musicians are awesome at what they do, but they're not great on the business side, and they're not great with technology, and they're definitely not great with programming. Now, there are a few that will break the mold, but in general, artists are not great at the business side, and it's too bad because a lot of artists have a hard time promoting themselves and being good business owners. So if you have that ability to combine the two, it's a very powerful combination that I wouldn't want you to feel like you have to give up one or the other. You know, if you're a musician, you can only probably go so far as a musician. If you're a programmer, you can only go so far as a programmer. But if you can combine them, you could be one of the best in the world at those two things together. And there's going to be other people who can learn from you and benefit from you. So an example, you know, if say a lot of the bands aren't great business people, how can you combine your skill with music and understanding of that, plus your skill on the business side and programming technology to make them a lot better, add a lot more value, and also tap into both of your passions at the same time? And I try to look for ways to combine your skills because that makes you really unique. You know, if I went out and tried to find a programmer, there's tons of programmers out there, right? And are you going to be the best programmer in the world? Maybe, but probably not. You know, you're the best at you. You're the best at what you can do. And so the more you can tie in your passions and personal interests together into that unique package, the more value you're going to be able to bring the right kind of client. And the goal here to be a successful entrepreneur is not to be able to target everybody, but to target a niche where you can be the best in the world at what you do. And that's how you can make a lot of money, but also add a lot of value to your community and make it really fulfilling and personally rewarding. So as much as you can combine those, the better. And I don't know what the magic answer is, but you're basically looking for ways that you can find, you can add value to your clients and combine those specific interests. So it could be around the musicians, it could be around the programming side, but ideally you can combine both of those together to make a successful business. I don't know if that answered your question or gave you more confusion, but if, again, you could tie into what's uniquely you and build a business around that, then you have a long-term, sustainable, competitive advantage over your customers. You can charge more, you'll get a lot more satisfaction out of your life, and you won't feel like you're always forced to pick between one or the other.
So let's start with this. Purpose is not passion. They're related, but they're not the same thing. Passion is also not that hard to figure out. Neither is purpose. People just have not been given the right tools. So let's simplify it for you today. And if you're someone who's struggling to figure out what your purpose and your passion are, this video is going to be insanely helpful for you. I have a who, why, how process. Who is your most important core value? We're not going to dive into that in this video, but the next two are your why and your how. Your why is your purpose and your how is your passion. So let's start with purpose. Your purpose is your why. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose is whatever the thing you struggled with the most in life. Think back to the most painful moment in your life. What was it? What was happening? What was around you? What was that moment? For positive, entrepreneur, optimistic people, this actually might be a challenge. For me, it was a challenge because I don't want to think about the bad past. I don't want to think about what happened to me. I'm focused on what I'm doing now and going forward, not rearview mirror stuff. What happened back then doesn't matter, except it does. Because the thing that will fill you up the most is helping people who are currently going through the thing that you struggled with the most. So whatever was the most painful moment in your life, from when you're born until right now, that you can remember, not physical pain, psychological pain, mental pain, the thing that made you feel terrible. What was that thing? Your purpose is to help other people who are feeling that right now. And so imagine who you are now and imagine who you used to be, whether that's a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Go back to whoever that person was. Let's just say it's 5 years ago. Great. The person you are now can help the person who you were 5 years ago. You may not have all the answers. You're still on your path. You don't know everything, but you've grown. You've come out of the hole. You're better than you were 5 years ago. Talk to the person you were 5 years ago. Helping that person is your purpose. You've climbed up the staircase, right? You've grown. There's still a lot more stairs to grow. You don't want the staircase to end. That staircase is your growth, is your professional and personal development for life. You want to keep climbing. And every time you take a step, what you want to do is reach down and help somebody else up. But you can only help people to the extent that you've grown. If you've taken 8 steps on the staircase, that's all you can help people up to get to step number 8. If you get to 20, you can help people more. So we want to keep growing, keep climbing those stairs, and then keep reaching back and pulling people up and giving them a hand. That's your purpose for life. You'll like serving people and helping people, and it's tied to your core value, your who, your one word. We're not talking about it much in this video, but you'll just like helping people because service is hardwired into our brain. Helping people is hardwired to your brain. It has a similar impact on your brain as food and sex. It's hardwired. You'll like it. You want to help people. You want to serve. But who you serve will be different. It'll have a different impact. I love helping people in general, but if you're an entrepreneur, that's something extra special. There's so many great causes in the world. There's so many great causes. Why this instead of this? Because you have an emotional connection to it, an emotional attachment to it. Why? Because you went through it. Because you suffered through it, and you want to make sure that nobody else has to suffer as much as you suffered. Your purpose comes from your pain, period. It'll fill you up for life. Helping entrepreneurs will fill me up for the rest of my life. It will never get old. When I'm tired, when I have no energy, when I'm depleted, I will still meet with entrepreneurs because it fills me up. Your purpose comes from your pain. You have to find it. Now let's talk about passion. So your passion is your how. Your passion is the things that you're doing, how you're going to actually execute against your why, execute against your purpose. What are you doing? It's great that you believe in entrepreneurs, amazing, but what are you going to do? How are you going to go about doing it? So for me, it's making videos. For me, it's doing speaking gigs. For me, it's writing books. For me, it's helping people one-on-one. For me, it's doing events, right? That's my how. But that will evolve, that will change. Right? I started doing this helping entrepreneur thing when I was 22 years old. And that started just by doing speaking. And then it became my website. And I had 100,000 plus pages of content. And then I shut the thing down overnight and I focused on YouTube. And it's been a 10-year plus journey on YouTube. And maybe in 10 years that's gone and I'm doing something totally different. I don't know, the how will change a lot. What you get passionate about, or to Mel's point about energy, what you get energy about will change with time. But it has to be connected to your purpose. Just because it gives you energy, it's not going to fill you up. It's got to be connected to a deeper source, which is your purpose. If you want to change your life in the next 30 days for free, check out my training right here below. Or if you want to learn how to build a brand that stands out, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.